Margaret Ann Windsor, and I'm Queen Victoria II, heir to the British throne, and I am the legal heir. And I'm going to make this brief because at some point I'm either dead, which I'm close to it now, age-wise, and with what they've continued to do to me. I'm allergic to chemicals. That's how they move me around, is with chemicals, toxic. And when I'm in an enclosed area, which has been delivered to me, done to me, my immune system attacks itself, and I get very sick. And the inflammation over the years has taken its toll on my whole body, every organ in my body. And there's no way, no cure for it. The only thing you can do is you smell it, you have to leave if it's not fixed or changed. And most people, they own their home, or they're not targeted, or they're not me, so they can fix things. I have to move. And I just go from one place to the other, and I've tried to leave Roanoke, and I meet myself coming back. So I wanted to put this up, though. There were mind control murders that I was writing about before I found out about my kidnapping. Larry Flint was one of them, of Hustler magazine. And I was doing the medical malpractice book about programming and mind control and murders done in patterns, because mind control is not visible. So these were deliberately done. You couldn't prove it, I don't suppose, and you'll never know how many were done. Because here is one of the things, and I don't want to get lost in this. I want to get this last part up and hope that it's the end of this mess and it's told, and I live to see it all done, and at least some people pay for their crimes, because half of them are dead. Part of the book was writing about the forensic pathologist at Piedmont Hospital in Atlanta, Warren and Rosina Matthews. They were shot outside their home in Terrell Mill Estates near where I lived on Delt Road in Moonraker Apartments, owned by Penthouse Magazine and sold to the Mormon Church out of Utah. Now, it's the only apartments I had that were really nice, and they were. I had a sunken den, sunken tub, but the hell that went on there, psychological warfare, all of it, the terrorizing me and my children, was so outlandish. And I was doing the book about, I'm just going to mention them, and Larry McDonald was the U.S. Congressman, John Birch Society and all that. That really, his office was in Piedmont Hospital, that's all I'll say. I also want to say I was writing about Gene Strokerman. My attorney, Eugene Kaiser, a former district attorney of Atlanta, Fulton County, was my attorney. And some seals were put on some doctors there that should have been prosecuted. But I was told that Victor Gonzalez, and he's still in practice, and his son is in practice. Can you believe it? And Hyman Miller, he's a Jew, and that's very important in this, out of Huntsville, Alabama. He's dead. And I understand his files, so I've been told, have been destroyed, but part of them are under seal. My attorney had them. Now I'm going to jump around a little. I've been made homeless and a pauper and called every name in the book and tortured beyond belief, and so have my children. And you can imagine what my mom and dad went through and all this, and my people in Great Britain. I'm going to go blank here. I'm so tired. I said this, I have an immune disorder, and when I'm around chemicals, and I've been drenched and bombarded with them. When I'm around chemicals that are toxic, and most of them are to me, especially glue and sealants and all that, if you're remodeling, and this where I'm at was remodeled not long ago, but I'm down to where I don't have a place to go. I pay my rent, and it's turned loose on me, and people want to pretend, well, the United States doesn't do that. Who in the heck do you think's behind all these war crimes? Syria and all of it, and bringing about the invasion of the Syrian immigrants through the United Nations, which is the hand of the Rockefellers and Rothschilds, to invade. But it all looks good. And then somebody says they ought to pick up their part of the money for what? They're the ones being invaded. And now I am skipping around. I'm going to get back to my kidnapping, and this is my dad, Edward the Eighth. I found out in '83, who never married Wallace Simpson. That was a double in a orchestrated takedown by my Uncle George the Sixth. Roosevelt, this is 39th year I was born, and 41 I was kidnapped. And Roosevelt appointed Joe Kennedy, so the Kennedy clan helped in my kidnapping. JFK and his older brother Joe flew in and stayed at the embassy 39 till after I was kidnapped in 41 and brought to this family. And this is Lionel Dempsey, a psychopath. This is me. And that family was dressed up here. They didn't have cars, and that was specially done. They had to go out of town, Moulton, Lawrence County, Alabama, to get a photographer. This is Elizabeth, who's illegal, using my money, sold out my country. This is Georgia O'Keeffe. My dad was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keeffe, her sister from Madison, Wisconsin. So I did think I was writing about mind control murders before I found out about my kidnapping. And this is going to go off too, and I'm tired. This is by Tex Mars Implantable Biochips, and it says here, this is the New World Order that kidnapped me, and history changed after they took down my father, Edward the Eighth. And I am the legal heir, but this is Project Lucid. A church gave me this. I already knew about it and wanted the book. And this is one of the mind control murders. A person who's a victim didn't have a choice. He was programmed. The Grand of the Century Theater, Aurora, Colorado. And he's been tortured, saying he had mental illness, given psychotic drugs and everything, and people are given shock treatments. I was just listening to Coast, which is the only place you can still get a little bit of the truth. They've been shut down a bit themselves, but they were telling about former Russia and the psychiatrists. They control dissonance using psychiatry. What do you think's going on here? I've been telling everybody about this, and everybody wants to rush your kids to get a psychiatric exam, etc. The mind control murders, well, there's a whole list of them. But and I'm jumping around a bit because I'm tired of telling all this and retelling it. And what good's it doing me? And nobody wants to touch it. They're afraid of it. Who's doing it? So I'm just going to go to this. I've told, and I'm not going to get it on this one. So I'm going to, I want to mention Larry Flint because I know that part of it, I was flown out there in the campaign to replace Larry McDonald, U.S. Congressman, doctor from Atlanta, Piedmont Hospital. I was doing the book at Marietta, and Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia. I was taken to Lawrence County, Alabama. Montgomery's the capital, and some of the mind control murders use those in the patterns, like Lawrence McDonald, the doctor congressman I wrote about, went down in the plane, KAL. Lawrence Larry Flint, Hustler Magazine. By the way, I didn't know it, but his first wife's name was Peggy. My name is Margaret Ann Windsor, Victoria II, legal heir to the British Crown. Kidnapped and brought over here in 41. I'll say it again because I'm tired and I'm not sure. But this is the twins, Peggy and Carl, both killed by their mother and born out of wedlock. Now then, this is endorsement by Flint, and he said I know who was responsible for his shooting. So this is going off, and I'm going to cut it off now. And I'm going to put the other that's the trump card in it that would prove that the patterns and everything. You can't disprove it. So this should be the end of it. But it can be covered up now, and I can die. I'm 77 years old. I'm just about dead now. But I'm going to go to the second video because it had to be put together for a reason. It was a bit elaborate itself. And it contains all the patterns, and it could not have just been, just happened.